Just kind of go through the videos, at least yesterday's video. What we started yesterday is we started with basic Linux. Okay, before that we did Vagrant. We did Linux because we started Linux because so many people is having problem in handling Linux system, and in a DevOps world you definitely need to know how to handle a Linux system and how to manage a Linux system.
Okay.
All right, so at least yesterday's session, please go through it. I'll let them know.
So how many classes have we completed? 4 classes, right?
There are few classes. For initial 2 classes was theory, what is DevOps and all those things, and then we followed with Vagrant and VirtualBox to show how to spin virtual machine with Vagrant, and then we started Linux.
Okay. I
So
think she
Vagrant,
forwarded me one, the very first one. It contains most of the introduction and things like that. So I went through
right?
that this afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so kind of go through yesterday. If you're good with Linux, then you don't need to go through yesterday's session. If you're not, then please go through it.
No, I would
Okay.
like to go through because I had quite a break because recently I've been working more as a IT project manager and stuff. So I want
Okay,
to,
then definitely you
yeah,
need to go.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. So guys, Vagrant. If you are still not sure with Vagrant and all those things, don't worry about Vagrant. We are going to do it on daily basis. Every day you're going to get Vagrant files for spinning instances for the practice and exercises. It's kind of set of Vagrant and VirtualBox. So I'm also going to show you how to do it on Windows, how to spin virtual machines on Windows. I'll boot it into Windows. Right now I have booted into my Ubuntu operating system. Right. So right after we do the cheat sheet and do all these things of the Linux, then I'll show you how to do it on the Windows. Okay, so if you choose to have Windows and you like to go with Windows, then that's fine. I'll show you how to do it on Windows. It's really simple. Basic Linux, again I'm repeating, it is really very important. Being a DevOps, if someone says that you don't need to know Linux, he's lying on your face, because uh, so many configuration management tools and other tools that we use installs only on Linux systems. So you should know how to manage a Linux system, how to handle Linux system. Most of the servers are running on Linux, so you should definitely know Linux. Okay. So moving forward, actually from the next course onwards, we'll have a compulsory 2-day free Linux session before I begin. That's what we thought now. All right. So let's come back to the point, and I'm sure you must have got the document of kernel technologies, which talks about Linux from the basics to the very advanced. And I have a cheat sheet over here, right, which I showed you yesterday. That we'll get today. So I'm going to go through the cheat sheet again. So I forgot the name of the person who has written this cheat sheet, but he did an amazing job consolidating all the basic Linux command into one. And plus I have added few of my own, which I feel it is very important for DevOps to know. Right. So what we're going to do is I have a Ubuntu operating system already running on my system, right? So I'm going to show you how to do it on Ubuntu, and plus we'll spin a virtual machine of CentOS. Okay, where I'll show you how to run the same commands on CentOS. There is slight difference between CentOS and Ubuntu, right? Two family, as we discussed, Red Hat family and Debian family, right? The packages and few commands change. Most of the things remain same, but few things that changes. I'm going to discuss about that, because being a DevOps, you need to manage both kind of systems, right? Both are Linux, but few commands will change. All right.
I have a quick
So
question here. You said
yeah.
you installed Ubuntu, right, on your machine. Is that a Windows machine or
It's a, so I have a dual boot. So we just we took a session for dual boot also, how to do dual boot installation and all.
okay, so when you do dual boot, right, either you can use Linux or Windows, right?
Or
Not two
exactly right.
at the same time.
No.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Sorry, Imran, I received the Linux lab manual PDF from Divya.
Right.
Can I know where is this cheat sheet?
Cheat sheet, you'll get it today.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So yeah, let me share my terminal that I show you that I'm spinning a CentOS virtual machine with Vagrant. So I want to spin CentOS machine. I'm checking what are the box I have. So I'm going to use this one, CentOS 6.5. Okay, if you want to do copy paste job on a terminal without using your mouse, instead of doing control C, don't do control C, you have to do control shift C. That's a shortcut. Okay, and if you want to paste it, control shift V. Right, just add shift when you do control C and control V. Okay, that's for the terminals. Okay, not putty. Okay, so spin this
So,
up.
sorry to bother you. Can you please quickly, for 2 minutes, right, tell me what this vagrant is? Because otherwise I am completely lost again in today's class.
Okay, so Vagrant is a command line tool which helps us creating and managing virtual machine by any hypervisor like VirtualBox. So we are using Vagrant as a tool to spin virtual machine with the help of VirtualBox. It's an automation tool. So in the file you give all the information about what is the box that you want to spin. Box is the image, like there are so many images hosted on the cloud, which you'll see in the video. What are the images that is hosted on the cloud? You can download those boxes anytime. If you want to spin, you just put it into the Vagrant file. What is the box, what is the IP address, what is the memory size, all those details in that Vagrant file, and you simply say Vagrant up, and it's going to create a virtual machine on VirtualBox.
Okay,
Okay, so it's automation of virtual machine. You can think of it like that. Instead of
sure.
creating virtual machines manually, you do it through Vagrant with a file.
And where would this one create the virtual machine?
Uh,
Where-
on VirtualBox, on my same system, on my system itself,
oh,
on my
okay,
desktop.
okay.
All right.
Imran, I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Moin.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
I missed yesterday's session. So just
Okay.
wanted to know briefly about what all things we did yesterday. Is it about only the commands
Yesterday.
of Linux? I'm aware about
Yes.
Linux,
Yes.
so just briefly tell
Okay.
me the highlights.
So yeah. Yesterday we did how to create files, delete files, edit files, directories, and very basic things with files and directories, and what is Linux shell and those kind of stuff.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to summarize everything once I'm done with the cheat sheet again. What we did yesterday and today. Okay.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
No problem. Okay. So back to the cheat sheet. Let's kick in with basic Linux. So I'm going to reiterate quickly whatever we did yesterday from the cheat sheet. Okay. So, uh, this is divided into a few sections, right? System-based commands, hardware-based command, statistics, user-based, file commands. We covered yesterday till file. I'm going to read. I'm going to do it again. Okay. Then process-related. I'm going to talk about process for some time. Then file permission. We'll talk about few networking commands, right? Zipping of the files, unzipping, compression, and the most important, installing packages on Red Hat based systems and on Debian and Ubuntu based systems. Okay, what is the difference and how does it work? Okay, this is you should really need to know the difference. Some search pattern using grep and all. How do you log in? Okay, file transferring from one system to other system, transferring data. Some disk utilities files, how to check the data, free space and those stuff. And then services, one more very important thing for a DevOps, managing services. Okay, how to start service, stop service, and do such kind of stuff. Right. So let me go to the terminal. Okay, so this is a virtual machine, CentOS. I'm gonna create one more terminal here. So this is Imran at DevOps. You see, this is my host operating system, my Ubuntu, which I have installed on my desktop, right? And this is just a virtual machine that we just created with CentOS. So we have one Ubuntu and one is CentOS. Okay. All right. So very beginning. So So whenever there is a difference between command in CentOS and Ubuntu, I'm going to run it on both system. Okay, when there is no difference, okay, I'm going to run it on either of the system, either CentOS or Ubuntu. Okay, so uname -a is the command you run when you want to know the system architecture. Is it 32-bit? Is it 64-bit? And what is the kernel version? Okay, so this is the kernel version 4.4. When you're managing a system, you should know, because if you get into some issue, you need to know whether this particular software or this particular service works on so and so kernel version or not, or if there is any bug in that kernel version. So someone may ask you the kernel version. If you want to know, uname -a. Okay, this is going to be the architecture of the CPU. Right? Either it's a 32-bit or 64-bit. If it says x86_64, that is a 64-bit system. Okay, my system is 64-bit. If it says just x86, then that is 32-bit. Okay, it will not say 32 like that. It will simply say x86. That means it's a 32-bit. Okay, if you just want to see the kernel version and nothing else, then uname -r. Okay, there is a file that only lives in Red Hat based systems. So CentOS is from the Red Hat family, right? So I'm into Red Hat now, and cat is a command which prints the data in the file, and this is the file red hat /etc/red hat-release. It shows you the version of your Red Hat system. It's CentOS 6.5. Okay, you should definitely need to know, because there is always difference between CentOS 5, 6 and 7 major versions. Okay, same as Red Hat Enterprise Linux also. Okay, CentOS and Red Hat Enterprise Linux follow same version. Okay, CentOS will get released first and then Red Hat Enterprise Linux gets released, but they more or less follow the same version. Okay, so this is a CentOS 6.5 operating system. All right. So uptime, the command which shows you from how long the system is up. So we created a virtual machine. It's like just 5 minutes now, right? So it shows you that this system came up just 5 minutes ago. Okay, before that it was powered off. All right, important. You want to know the host name. Now we have not assigned any host name to this, so it's going to simply print localhost.local domain. That's the host name. If I go to my Ubuntu machine, there I have set the host name, and my host name is DevOps. There. Right. If you want to see the current date, which is again very important, hit the date command. Okay, it shows you the current date. Sometimes you need to create files with some date timestamp, or copy or take a backup. Okay, so you should know, you don't need to command line interface. You will not have the luxury of having this normal time, right? Sorry, the GUI based clock. Yeah. So you can use date command and see the date, current date, what it is. Okay. Calendar command, again, I really don't use it much because date itself shows me the date. So shows just you the calendar. Okay. W command, which you will use a lot of time, and I also use it a lot of time. It shows the current load average and how many people are logged into the system. Okay. So current load average is 4.27. I'm going to talk about load average later, but this is the current load average. Right. You'll have three sections over here, right? So just go with the first one. This is the current load average. Okay. So sometimes your system kind of goes down or happens to be very slow. Okay, that time you need to check what's the current load average. You can simply hit W and see the current load average. Okay, and also it is to show you how many users are logged in. So there are 2 users. Okay, actually one user which logged into 2 different terminals. The username is Imran, which has logged into your system. Okay. Right. So those were few things that we already took. So sometimes you come into a situation where you're getting some errors or something like that. You post your questions on some websites like Stack Overflow, something like that, or you give you ask some operation system admin to help you for that, and they may ask you, if it's mostly hardware related issue, and they may ask you, can you send me the D message logs? Right? So you hit D message, you hit enter, it shows you all the logs, okay, from the hardware related. So you see there are some errors from the virtual box, right? It's creepy looking output, but don't need to really go through it one by one, okay, because this will every time change. So someone will ask you, you need to send these logs, maybe hardware provider, maybe some operation or system admin guy who's asking you. So D message, hit the command, and you get all the logs. All right. Yeah. If you want to see the current memory usage, so we are into hardware section now. We're just seeing the memories, memory and CPU, those kind of stuff. So if you want to see what is the current available memory, the RAM size, and how much is used and utilized, you hit free-m. Free-m shows you memory size, RAM size in MBs. Okay. So total my memory is of almost 16 GB. So Linux will always do this round up. So I have 16 GB of memory, okay, on my laptop, and it is showing like 15937. So you'll see this small variation, okay, but don't worry, it's your memory is safe. There is a difference between Ubuntu and CentOS over here. So on my Ubuntu operating system, 1.5 GB of memory is used. It is showing me 10 GB of free memory, but that's not true, right? I have more than that because I have 16 GB, right? So if you add up, like, 10 GB plus 1.5 GB is like 11.5. So is the rest of the GB gone? It's here. Okay, so you cannot rely in Ubuntu in free section. Okay, it's go through the available section. So this is the available memory, okay, which I can use. So it's like around 13 GB. Okay. If I go to CentOS system, you don't see that available. You simply see the available memory, sorry, the total memory and the free memory and used memory. Okay, so this system has around 1.5 GB. This virtual machine has around 1.5 GB of memory, right? And used is only 114. Yeah, that is very less because Linux system needs very less memory. When it comes to command line, it is very less. Okay, just 114 MB, and your CentOS system is up and running. Okay, so you have a lot of free space left. Right, that's the difference between Ubuntu and CentOS in terms of memory. Few statistics command which is very important. So we have seen it, W, you can see the load average. Okay, let me go to Ubuntu machine. W, you can see the load average, it's around 3.52, but it kind of shows you it's not real time, right? It checks and shows on the screen, done. If you have to see everything real time, you hit top command. Top is like your task manager of your Windows, okay? So it shows you how many, what is the load average, current load average, and it will continuously update this, okay? It's the latest things. It'll show you some more information like what is the uptime from 21 minutes, it's up. There are 2 users logged in. Okay, this is the load average. Task, there are 240 tasks running. Okay, 3 are running processes, right? 238 are sleeping processes. So they're not taking too much of memory, they're sleeping kind of, whenever it's required, they'll wake up. Okay, percent of CPU, so 67% of the CPU is utilized. Okay, and there are few other values. Okay, it's too much of, it's too creepy, don't worry about those things. Then it talks about memory, swap space, we'll talk about swap later, and then kind of at the down shows all the processes that is running or sleeping, okay, which is in the memory, all the process that is in the memory. Okay, on the very left hand side you see PID. So every process in Linux runs with a process ID, which is very important for us to identify, because sometimes we may need to do some operation on the process ID, like killing a process, okay, finding out the process, right? Process ID. So process ID, you can see the user who started this process, okay, and the percent of CPU it is using and percent of memory it is using, okay, all real time, and what was the command actually. So user Imran started Chrome. So the Chrome was the command. Yeah, it's a browser, but it's also a command back in there. So it's using some amount of memory and CPU. So you kind of see all the details, what is happening, which process is taking the maximum amount of load. Okay, and few then other processes. So some process started with root user. Okay, root user we discussed yesterday. It's the admin and whole and soul god of Linux operating system. Pretty much have unlimited power to destroy anything or create anything. Okay, right. So apart from what I showed, there are so many other details also in top command. Okay, but this is the basic that you need to know. Sometimes you get into a situation where you start some service or application and system is kind of going slow and crazy. So you can check real time what exactly is happening. All right, with top command.
Hey,
But
Imran,
there are
can I
few.
ask you a question? Uh,
Yeah.
Here we are seeing Chrome, right? Does it
Yeah.
mean that you have, brought up the browser through
Yes.
your Ubuntu, or it's
Yes. I
your
mean,
Windows, base Windows?
no, no, no. My base operating system is Ubuntu.
Okay.
Okay. Let me go to the virtual machine. This is the
It
CentOS
will not
virtual
show
machine.
anything on your Windows laptop, right? Even if we have installed all these things on top of it, like Ubuntu
Uh,
and all this,
this is Linux specific, so Windows definitely it will not show.
it will not show up. Okay.
Yeah, definitely not. So this is for operating system specific. You log into Linux machine and you want to check its health, you hit top command, simple. It's like a task manager of Windows. In
Yep.
Windows you have
Okay.
task manager, here you have top.
Okay.
So few other statistics command, if you have time, go through it. I'm simply going to show it to you. Like one is vmstat, okay, which shows if I give vmstat and 2, so every 2 seconds it's gonna check the memory status and throw it on the screen. Okay, if you give 1 second, every 1 second it's going to check. So if you want to just look only for memory, like how much my memory is consumed and free, right? So you can hit vmstat and the number of seconds that you want to get it updated. Okay, so control C. So if you want to come out, use control C. If you want to come out of top, you give Q. Okay, Q command. So these are few statistics command that you need to know when you want to check the load and system utilities, utilizations, those stuff. There are other command like lsof. Okay, lsof command is going to show you the list of all open files. Okay, belonging to the active process. So there are so many processes we've seen in the top command. So those processes must be accessing some files, right? The open files, right? So whenever you open any file, let's take an example. You just open a notepad in Windows and you're doing something, right? Now that file is open for operation. Okay, you're doing some operation into it. So that's an open file, right? So like that, processes also need to open some file, get some data, put some data, those kind of stuff, right? So lsof command shows you the list of all the open files on your system. Okay, if you want to check user specific, like let's say lsof -u root. Okay, so if I say I want to check, so I'm a normal user Imran, so I cannot run root command. So if I want to run root command, I have to just put sudo in front of that. Okay, then I become a super user. Okay, so what I want to check is how many files are opened by root user. Okay, so lsof -u and the username, right? So these many files is currently opened by the root user. Okay. Right, so that is some statistics. You want to check of your system, CPU, memory, some open files, right? Hardware related, right? Let's come to the user. Let me go to the CentOS machine. Okay. If you want to check about yourself, like this is a CentOS virtual machine. I have logged in with Vagrant user. Okay, the username is Vagrant. If I hit ID command, I get to know that what is my current user with I'm logged in. what is my UID. So for every user there is going to be a user ID. Okay, and for that, like what is your group, in what group you belong to, Vagrant group you belong to, and there is one more group called V. So ID command is going to show you all that. Okay. Okay. Last command. It's a very nice command when you can see what all user have been logged previously on this machine. Okay. Last logged in users. Okay. Right. Now let's try and add a user on CentOS machine. Okay. So to add a user, now I am a normal user, right? I check my user, it's Vagrant. I am not a root user, definitely not, right? And you see that dollar prompt over here, right? We discussed about this, that whenever you see dollar, that means it's a normal user. If you see a hash, then it means a root user. So normal user cannot add users into the system, right? So first of all, I need to put sudo, because Vagrant is a super user, anytime can become a super user by using sudo command. Okay, and the command to add user is user add. Whenever you hit any root, admin related command and you get permission denied, something like that, just put sudo before that. Okay, so sudo user add, and I want to add a user called as DevOps. Yeah, DevOps 123. Right. This user got added, okay, but the user is not yet activated because there is no password assigned to it. Okay, so to assign a password, I'm going to give command passwd DevOps 123. Right, and I give a password. Right, and this user got activated. Right, su hyphen. So I'm a root user now. Okay, with sudo hyphen I have become a root user. I want to become DevOps 123. Right. All right. We'll talk about sudo and su later. Okay. Let's come back to the Vagrant. So every time you add a user, its home directory gets created. If you want to delete that user, okay, you can use userdel command, userdel DevOps 123. So if I use this command, I have to give sudo before that. I can delete this user with this userdel command, but if I delete it like this, so as we discussed, every user is going to have its home directory. Right now, there will be a home directory created for this user in /home, right? So if we simply do ls to /home, I see a directory called DevOps 123 over here. Okay, so if I delete a user by just giving userdel, that the home directory will remain as it is. It won't be deleted. Okay, so if you want to delete that also, I have to use an option called -r. Okay, that deletes the home directory of the user as well. Okay, and the user got deleted. You check /home, there is no home directory. Right, now there is a difference between Ubuntu and CentOS. In CentOS, you use user add command. In Ubuntu, you use add user command. Add user, sudo add user, and let's say DevOps. It is different. Okay, when you hit add user, it will ask you for password and all the information. You don't need to run any other command. It's like they have enhanced this particular thing, right? So the full name of the user and such kind of stuff. At room number, work phone. So it will ask you all the information. Is this information correct? Yes. So you don't need to do passwd command again. So passwd command is not only to create the password, but it is also to reset the password. If I want to reset the password of a particular user, I simply give passwd and the username. Okay, password did not match. Okay, now all this command, user related command, only root user can execute, right? So I have to give sudo, right? We discussed already that. But if you want to change your own password, right? Now let me log in with. Oh, we deleted this user. Let me add this user. So I'm in CentOS machine. I'm adding a user. Again, there was 123 because we deleted that user. Okay, I've given very simple password, dictionary-based password. Okay, that's simply the name DevOps. Okay, which is very bad. But I can do it because I'm running this command with root. If I run sudo also, I am running this command as root. Okay. Now let me become this user. So if you want to become that user, any user you want to change to any user, you are logged in with some other user, you want to change to that user. You have to simply give su hyphen and the username. Okay, if I'm a root user, okay, it will not ask me password. But if I'm a normal user, it will ask me the password. Okay, for that user. So if I want to change my own password, like DevOps123 user want to change its own password, simply give passwd. Don't give the username here, okay, because you're already that user. Okay, it will give you an error. So simply give passwd, hit enter. It will ask you current password. Okay, then okay, I'm giving very simple password, but it's really not allowing me to give that password. Okay, because I'm a normal user, I need to enter very complicated password. That's the restriction in with passwd command. Okay, you want to exit from this user, either you can type exit, okay, or you can simply use control D. Control D sends a signal to for logout. Okay, so those were some command that is related to user. We're going to add some users with our Ansible, Chef, and Puppet, these two. So you should know how it's doing in the background. So background is going to run the same command, right? So let me come back. Okay, I'm becoming a root user now, sudo -i, and I become a root user on my CentOS machine. Right? It's a CentOS machine. You can check this. So I told you everything in Linux begins with a slash, ls slash, right? And here you are, ls will list what is the content in the slash. So let's go into the slash, cd slash, right? That's a root directory, right? If I do ls, I see all that. This is all the data, right, that is in my system, right? So we discussed about few directory structure, right? We discussed about home, where all the home directory of the user lives. Okay. We discussed about etc, right, where all the configuration file in the Linux system lives in, all text based, right? So it's something called absolute path and relative path that I want to talk about. Okay, whenever you want to go to a particular directory, okay, okay, let's go to my Ubuntu system. I am in /home/imran. Okay, I do a ls. There is a directory called training. I want to go to that directory. I can go cd and I give its name training. Right, I go there. I do ls. There are few more directories. Okay, inside that I want to go to labs directory, cd labs. Right. So this path, whatever I'm entering, cd training, cd labs, this is called as relative path. Okay. Absolute path, so starts with a slash. So you have to give the complete path. If I hit cd, enter, I go to my home directory. Okay. Now again, let's do the same thing with absolute path. I want to go to the training directory. Now this training directory exists in my present working directory, right? I can simply do cd and I can do training, right? But if I want to enter an absolute path, I have to enter it right from the very beginning, which is slash home and my user directory Imran and then training. Right? This is the absolute path. This begins with a slash. Most of the time you're gonna in DevOps you use absolute path, okay? Because whenever you do some automation from some remote server, you don't know which directory it will land in. Okay, right now we know we are in /home/imran already, so I can give relative path cd training. But if I'm doing some automation, if from somewhere else I'm trying to run some script which is in training directory, I need to give the complete path, absolute path. So absolute path begins with a slash. Okay, I do ls, I can simply go to, if I want to go to test directory, I can simply do test, but I can give an absolute path also, cd slash home slash imran slash training and test. Right? When you're doing it, like when you're in the system, it looks cumbersome to put absolute path, but when you're doing automation, we have to give absolute path. Okay, so you should know absolute path of any file and directory that you are managing or manipulating. Okay, all right. Is that clear? Any question or any doubt? Absolute path, relative path is really important.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So so that brings me to file commands, which you already did yesterday. So I'm not going to repeating it again. Creating directories, removing files, creating files, editing files. Right. VI editor. You should be very good with VI editor also. Specifically VIM editor. So install VIM. Okay. Going into insert mode, adding the content, right? Removing the content, saving it, forcefully quitting it, normally quitting it, save and quit, right? These small operations you should know about VI editor, okay? Because you'll not have a luxury of graphical editor when you're accessing some cloud instance, virtual machine, or any remote machine, right? Cool. So ls. Okay. Now I want to talk about links. Okay, soft links specifically. Links is exactly same as desktop shortcut or any shortcut that you see in Windows. Okay, it's like creating shortcuts. Okay, so let's say I want to create a shortcut for Puppet directory here. Okay, there is a Puppet directory, and I want to create a shortcut in my home directory. Okay, first let me check the path. So this is the absolute path of test, right? And then after that I have to give Puppet. So cd enter, I go to my home directory, pwd, see I'm in my home directory /home /imran, right? I want to create a shortcut here in my home directory which points to this Puppet directory, which is in this path. Okay, so I need to give a command -s link, okay, and I give first path where I want to create a link. No, to which I'm pointing to the link. So /home /training, right, /test and Puppet, right? And here I'll create and then I'll give the name of the link. Okay, let's say Puppet Puppet link. Yeah, whatever. ls sorry enter, and then let me do ls. So you see a file called Puppet lin over there here. Okay. So if I do ls-l, which is long listing, a few command that I want to show you. A few options, L, T, R. Okay. Let's use this option. We use this a lot, ls-ltr. What this does is, L you already know, -l, long listing shows all the information about the file, date, time when it was last updated. Okay. T, it will show an ascending time, and R will simply reverse that. So you will see it last updated file at the very end with -ltr. Okay, with all the information. That shows me this was the last file that I created here, and this is a link which is pointing, you see an arrow which is pointing to this particular path. So if I simply do cd puppet lin pwd, what happened? There's some issue. Oops. What is it?
Is there anything in Puppet directory? You want to test that first?
Good
Maybe
one.
nothing in there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my bad. Okay, there's no data in here. Okay,
Yeah,
and the link is working fine. It's really confusing.
yeah.
Thanks for the help. Okay, we'll use some other directory. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Let me unlink those things. Unlink is the command with which you can simply unlink the link. So what unlink will do is simply remove that link. Okay. ln-s/home training, sorry, Imran training test and Jenkins and Jenkins. Yeah. Alright, so there is a link named Jenkins, or you can say it's a shortcut to go into this directory. Okay, so if I do cd Jenkins, I land into this directory. Okay, so that's a shortcut, and that's how you can create a shortcut. We need to create some shortcut, and we'll do it through automation scripts with Ansible, Chef, and Puppet. Okay, and this is how you do it manually. If you want to unlink it, you simply do unlink. So we have created a shortcut for a directory. Similar way, you can create a shortcut for a file also. Okay. All right. Yeah. So about LTR. Oh, let me go to again some directory. Yes. So ls-ltr. So you know -l is shows you the long listing, and t with the ascending timestamp, and r will simply reverse it. So you see the last updated file at the very end. Okay, it's a good command. You see the last edited file. That's good. What are the information that you see with -l? Right. So we discussed timestamp, right? So this is the timestamp when this file was last updated. Okay, not created but updated. If I make some changes, so let's say there is a Vagrant file, it shows, you know, on 10th of November at so and so time this file was edited. Okay, so if I simply go to this Vagrant file and I make some changes here, save this. If I run ls-ltr, first of all it's going to come at the very end because we are listing with the timestamp. Okay, sorting with the timestamp. Yeah, that's the correct word. So you see the current updated date, right, which is December 27, 7:47, right? That's my current time, IST, right? And this is the size of the file, which is not a very reliable option to see the size of the file. Okay, don't go with this size. This is misleading. Okay, we have other commands to see the size of the file, right? This is Imran is the owner of the file. Okay, this is the owner of the file, and this is the group owner. So you have the ownership from the user, and you have ownership from the group for a file or a directory or whatever it is. Okay, so and over here you have something called as permissions. Okay, so that brings you to the permission. So firstly, this hyphen you see at the very beginning, if it's a minus sign, that means it's a normal file. Okay, if it's a D, that means it's a directory. Okay, if it's a link, where is our links? Okay, if it's a link, it will you'll see a L over here. Okay, so that's the first part from the permission. The next 3 bits is actually the permission for the user. Okay, so R represents read, W represents write, and X represents execute. So here you don't have execute permission for the user, here you have. Okay, and next 3 is for the group, and the last 3 is for others. Anyone who is not from the user, if he's not the owner and not in the group, okay, applies this permission. Okay, so read, write, execute for user or the owner, read, write, execute for the group, and here you have just read and execute for others. Okay, so if you want to change the permission of the file, let's say this is a script, not let's say, it is a script actually with some command. This command actually installs Jenkins. If I scan this, there are a few commands over here which installs and sets up Jenkins server. Okay, now this is a shell script. I cannot execute this script because it does not have a execute permission. Okay, so if you want to change the execute permission, okay, you have to use a command called chmod. Okay, so today I'm going to just show you how to change permission with alphabetically, then we'll see numerically. So you hit chmod and you want to assign permission for the user, okay, or the owner. Okay, so you say u plus x, that means user should have an execute permission. Okay, and the file. If I do ls-mkdir again, you see now there is a execute permission, right, assigned to the user. If I want to give it to the group, so I say chmod g plus x and the name of the file. And now group also have execute permission, right? Now for others, I want to remove the read permission also. I don't want to give any permission to other people. Okay, chmod, so I'll say o minus r. Okay, so other should not have a read permission. And now others don't have any permission, user and group has full permission. Okay, now that's what do you call it? Alphabetical representation, or how to assign permission alphabetically. There is a numerical way also to assign permission, which we'll discuss in a while. But before doing that, let's talk about ownership. So the owner of this file is Imran, and the group owner is also Imran. So there is a group called Imran over there. Okay, so if I want to change the ownership of this file, okay, so let's say I want to change it to root. So sudo chon is the command to change the ownership. I say root should be the owner and the group should be Imran. So I give colon and the right hand side I give the group name. So I am entering a sudo command. I have to give my password. Be bad in entering my password because it's very complicated. Okay, now you see the ownership, the user ownership has changed to root and the group ownership remained Imran. If I want to change the group ownership also, I can simply again run the same command, and instead of, so root is the owner and the group is also root. So there is a group called root which is already there in the system. Okay, right, let me change it back. So now Imran user cannot do anything with this system, with this file script. Okay, so if you want to change the permission and ownership, you need to use chmod to change the permission, chon to change the ownership. Okay, all right. So that brings me, okay, hold on. Let me open the cheat sheet and talk about the numerical representation of the file. Okay, we have seen how to assign and change permission by giving the alphabet. U is for user, G is for group, O is for others, and read, write, execute, so on. If you, but most of the time you will see also in automation tool and also people giving permission like this. So they say chmod 777, that's full permission, right? So what does that mean is, so every permission like read has a numerical representation, a numerical value, which is 4. Okay, write has a numerical value 2 and execute has a numerical value 1. Okay, what that means is, suppose I want to give a permission of read and write to the user. So I can give, see, read is 4 and write is 2. So I just simply add 4 plus 2, 6, right? And I want to give again read and write for the, this is for the user. Okay, the next will be for the group, and for other I just want to give no permission, so I simply give 0. Okay, so that's a numerical representation, and we can give simply the name of the file like this. Okay, how that works is, okay, we'll go back to our terminal and we'll see how that works real time. Okay, let's list its permission. So, first of all, okay, let's say I want to give full permission, which is a very bad idea. Never give full permission. Full permission simply means 777. Okay, first let's give 777. Or let me give 000. Let me remove all the permission. Right? No permission for this file, for the owner, for the group, or for the others. Okay, it's a normal file. Now, I want to give read permission, that is 4 to the user, to the group 4 just read permission, others no permission. Right, now I want to give read and write to the user. So read is 4, write is 2, so 4 plus 2 is 6 for the user, and for group I just want to give read, and for others I don't want to give anything. Right, now it's a script. Okay, I want to give execute permission for the user and for the group, and for others no permission. Okay, so I want to give full permission for the user. So 4 plus 2 plus 1, right? 4 is for read, 2 is for write, 1 is for execute. So that is 7 and 7 and 0. 7 permission is for the user, 7 permission is for the group, and 0 permission is for others. And so you will see this numerical representation in automation scripts. In automation script, when you are creating a file and you want to assign a permission, we assign permission in numerical values. Okay, any configuration management tool you take, Ansible, Chef, Puppet, they assign permission on this way at numerical value. Understood? Any question in this? Okay, so kind of go through the cheat sheet, okay, and see what else is there. You can do practice. Just go and practice all those things. That brings me to the process, which is very, very important and highly important. Okay, let me share the terminal again with you. So that's my terminal. Now we know top command, right? We can do pretty much anything with top command. See all the process ID and all, right? And that's like real time. It just remains on my system. If I want to check what are the processes running on my system, all the processes, just throw it on the screen and just simply die. Okay, so ps is the command and aux is the option, okay, which shows all the running, sleeping, all the processes that you see in the top command. Okay, so sudo I'm giving because I want to see all the processes from root user also, like literally all the processes. So I say ps aux. So it looks similar to the top command, but it kind of throw it on the screen and exits. Okay, so these are like all the processes. Okay, root owned by root, the user Imran. You see other users also. Now that brings me to one more point here. In Linux, you won't have just the user which logs in or doing something in the shell. There will be also system users. So these users are something that is created when you install a software on a package or something like that, and that user manages that particular process. Every process in Linux is managed by some or the other user. Okay, without user, there is no process gonna run or sleep or whatever. Okay, so basically that says like, you know, you have to run any process with some or the other user. Okay, so yes, Linux system gets compromised only when the user gets compromised. Understand? It's not something can come in and someone can come in like in Windows system and do something. He has to come in and log in with some user, then only he gets some access. Okay, so user compromise means something is getting compromised, right? Right, so processes. So left hand side you see the owner of the process, okay, user, and then it's the PID, process ID. We see PID 1, okay, it is called as the father or mother or forefather, mother process of all the process, init process, okay. All the process, this is the first process that starts in Linux. After that, all the other process starts. All the other processes are child of this process, okay. This so much of output, and coming into CentOS machine where I do not have much of things. PS aux, okay. So you see all the running processes, okay. I want to simply 1 second. Oops, Linux is CentOS system. Just give me a moment. I want to show you something with the process, so that's why I'm doing this. I'll talk about all these things again. Okay. Now this is, let's say this is a web server. There is a HTTPD process running. Okay, Apache process. Apache is the most famous web server which helps you host the static pages, right? The most popular one. So this is a web server which is running that process. If I want to see information about that process, I can use PSOX, and I can simply go through this to see. There's a user called Apache which we never created, right? It got installed with the package, okay? It has the process ID 2621 and some information there, and that's the command it is running, right? HTTPD. This is the command that it is running. So there are so many HTTPD processes, okay? Let's say this process is taking something gone wrong with this process. This process went rogue and eating up all the memory and kind of slowing down the system and not able to stop this process in any other way, okay. So I need to kill this process, okay. To kill the process, first you need to have its process ID, right? So these are the process IDs, okay. So kill, and I say -9. -9 is forceful kill, okay. So if I say kill 2621, okay, and enter. Run that command again and see the 2621 process is has died, okay. Now sometimes this kill does not work, okay, because this kill is sending a signal to this process and it is asking this process to die, okay. But since this if this process become rogue, it's not going to listen, okay. It's not responding to any signal, so you can simply use -9 option. -9 option will not ask the process to die, it will kill it, right. So kill -9 will forcefully kill the process. Okay, sorry, that process does not exist now, so we have 2622, okay. Now you will be saying that there are still so many HTTP processes, right? That's true. That's the nature of some of the processes or services that creates forking, that creates multiple processes. So you want to kill this process, you have to kill all the process IDs. Okay, so these are the process ID. You should know how to kill it, right? There is other command ps-ef. Okay, if you hit similar output, something less than that, it also shows all the processes. It also shows the PID, and it's also sorry. I also, I'm having a tongue freeze now. Okay, it also shows the parent process ID, okay, which is called as PPID. Okay, what is parent process ID? So there will be a process that starts other processes. Okay, let's say one process got started. Right. If you see, the parent process of this is 2619. All the Apache process parent is saved. So there was one process that started, and this is the process 2619, which was started by root, which in turn started all the other processes. Understood? So these processes are child processes of this process. So there was a process started by root, and which in turn started the other process, and that are running with Apache user. Okay. So what happens if I kill this parent process 2619 forcefully? Okay. It came up with some other process. So killing a parent process is what do you say, not a reliable option. You will simply say, no, if I kill the parent, it should all kill all the other process. But that's not a reliable option. Okay. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. Okay, that really depends on the nature of the service or the process. Okay. Sometimes by killing the parent process, all the other process dies. Okay, but not in this case, definitely not. Okay, what other thing can happen is if you kill a parent process, the other process does not die, but it becomes orphan, which is called as orphan process. Okay, you'll hear this word orphan process. Orphan process is something whose parent has died, but it has no information that it died, so it is simply running. Okay, some orphan processes are adopted by other processes. Like I killed the other process 2619, but there was other process 2608 that started, right, and adopted these other processes. Understood? So it's not a reliable option. If you want to kill a process, you need to kill all the processes related to it. Okay? Alright, so that's about process. If I want to specifically only find the Apache process, okay, so ps-ef throws everything on the screen, right? There is a symbol called as pipe, this particular symbol. Okay, it will be mostly below the backspace. Okay, so ps-ef pipe. So what is pipe? Pipe is like, pipe symbol is like a normal pipe. You put something in one side, something other comes, the same thing comes out on the other side, right? So here, instead of throwing all the output on the screen, I am piping that output. Okay, I'm putting all that output and sending it to some other command, and the other command is grep. Grep is a utility which actually looks for a particular string. Okay, so grep command is going to get the output, whatever you see on the screen, it's going to get the output. Okay, and from that particular output, I just want to find Apache. So it's going to look for a string called Apache, just a normal text Apache, right? And then it will just filter it out. So you can see it is a filter command also. So now I only see that I have put like Apache, so it's going to only show the text which has Apache in it. Okay, let's say I'm putting something called as anachron. I only see anachron. So if you want to extract a particular process ID, you use the ps-ef or ps-aux command, pipe it, send it to the grep, and put the text whatever you want for it to search. You are like filtering out. Okay, grep command is very nice command. You can simply grep. Okay, let me go to this. There is an anaconda.csv file that gets created when in any CentOS or Ubuntu machine, right? So grep can find the text from the file. Okay, now I'm done with the processes. I'm coming to the filter commands. So grep, and I want to find if there is a text called reboot in this particular file, and it is there and simply printed out. Okay. Okay. Let's say if I want to check grep bootloader, and there is some text with the bootloader, it's gonna throw that particular line on the screen to me. Okay, I can do the other way also. I can simply do cat anaconda.csv, which prints all the output on the screen, but I don't want it on the screen. I want to pipe it and send it to grep. Let's say boot. So it's the other way. Okay, grep, you can simply give grep text and the name of the file, but also you can do piping. Okay, most of the time we use this pipe. So grep needs any text data that it can filter from. That's all. So you can send any data from the pipe. You can send the ps-ef data. You can send some cat data, some log, anything. Okay, you send it through the pipe. Grep will accept it and search for that particular string. It is searching for boot and printing it on the screen. Okay, a filter command. Okay, filtering the text. All right. Took more than expected time today. I thought it will get complete today. Right, we have a few other things also remaining that should take around I believe half an hour of time more. So we'll take rest of the thing tomorrow, okay, because I have to kind of go to the other class also. Yeah. So network is remaining, compression is simply installing packages and removing packages, okay, this also doesn't take much time. Search, you have seen grep already, we'll look for locate and find, we'll see. Then some remote options, how to do SSH, file transfer. Only few things are remaining, okay. That will cover tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll also show you, I thought of showing it to you today, I said, but we really exhausted the time. I'll log in with my Windows Windows operating system, and then we'll do virtualization with background on Windows system. I'll show you how to do it there, okay? Right, and then we'll begin with Ansible.
Hi Imran, this is Karthik.
Hi Karthik.
Imran, I have a couple of questions. Can I shoot an email to you, or how it works out?
So either you can ask me in the class, since we like we don't have much time now. You could have asked me before this. If you still have question, you can shoot an email to me. Okay, and
can I have your
yes,
email ID?
not my email ID, as in the Visual Path email ID. Send it to Divya. She'll forward it to me. And you can anytime ask me question in the class, in the middle of it. Don't worry about. Don't hesitate asking questions. Okay.
Yeah, no problem, Imran. But right, I just have done completed with my exams and the project work. So right now I was much more concentrated. So I have some basic questions in the basic classes.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify them so that I can be on the same track with what you are saying right now.
True. So kind of send emails, put all your questions, and I'll be happy to respond to all your questions.
Sure. Thanks, Imran.
Okay, Imran, this is Bhaskar. So I can
Yeah,
speak to Divya, right, to what's the next steps and all these things. And how long is the course scheduled for?
So ideally, I told you we scope for 40 hours,
Okay.
but we have included Linux sessions also. Now it's like 3 days free Linux session.
Okay.
So we kind of exceeded the time.
Right.
So yeah, ideally we say 40 hours. Let's see how it goes.
And it's Monday through Friday, right? Monday through Friday. Yeah, your time.
Right. Monday through Friday, but Saturday is also, which I look for sometimes. All the students are okay with Saturday. So someone from the organizer will get back to you on that about Saturdays. That I'm not sure yet.
Okay. And I can ask her for the classes that you have already completed, right? Because I need to review them.
Yes.
Understood.
Definitely they'll be sending it to you.
Okay. Okay. And which Linux thing should we practice more? Would that be Ubuntu or Red Hat Linux?
Both. So wherever there is a
Both.
difference, I show it, right? So
Okay. So basically we have to practice.
90% it's gonna remain same. Okay, 85% or 90% is gonna remain same. Few commands are gonna. It's only gonna be the difference with the commands.
Right. Okay. Okay. No
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you everyone. I'm getting late. You still have questions? Shoot me on the email, and I forgot to send you the forum link. Tomorrow I'll send you the forum link. Or today someone will send you the forum link. If you have any question, you can post it on the forum. Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
You bye bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.